Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, we're going to be going over a bunch of builds from people I trust from the community. So, if you are unaware, in like the Path of Exile community, there's a lot of sussy builds out there. Builds that aren't necessarily meant to be the best, they're meant to kind of capture the eyes of people who don't know better, and unfortunately, this kind of applies to Last Epoch as well. There's a lot of people who make what I would call very suboptimal builds. I'm not trying to call anyone out here, but there's definitely a subculture of very, very suboptimal things going on. Thankfully, I have waded through the mud for you. We have found a lot of builds from people I trust, people I know that won't go out of their way to abuse bugs in their showcases, people I know that actually play the video game for long lengths of time instead of only playing it for 2 days and assume that 40,000 ward is like intentional, and people that I know and are friends of mine. So we're going to go over, I think, 6 different builds from the community that I currently trust, that I would play myself if I wasn't playing the league starter that I was right now. So the first one on this list is going to be Pinching Loaf. He makes very new player friendly content. Unfortunately, because of the way that I go about making content, not everything is going to be new player friendly because, to do that, I would have to spend copious amounts of time to do so, and I don't have all the time in the world. But thankfully, Pinching Loaf definitely spends a lot of time making sure that all of his content is very new player friendly. And the one that he just cooked up with a viewer of his is going to be Shield Throw Forge Guard. So the idea here is it's going to be based around Sigion's Reprisal, the item that you see on screen here. Essentially, Shield Throw is going to get a lot of flat from your damage reflect, and the reason why this is viable is because there's a new 1x1 idol that's being released in patch 1.2 that's a Weaver specific idol. They all drop with like flat on them. So for instance, each one rolls with like 151 flat, which is like 15 flat for your shield throw, which, by the way, if you don't know, that's a lot of flat. And being able to log in and get your like shield throw to have like maybe 350 flat or something stupid like that is a lot of damage. And of course, you're playing it on a Forge Guard to abuse the Ring of Shields bouncing stuff like we found a few patches ago. Pretty much, it's going to be a very fun build in theory. It should do decent amounts of damage. I'm not entirely sure, but the concept is there. And if the build is bad or if there's something wrong, I'm sure he would definitely, fix it. So definitely a build I would be looking out for next patch. Normally, I wouldn't suggest people play Forge Guard, but in theory, Shield Throw can definitely do enough damage, especially with all the buffs and all that. Mainly because of the tech that we found a few months ago about Ring of Shields creating, a blender like a flat effect with Shield Throw. So it should be great. So my man Trickster here, he is pretty much my rogue main. He plays a lot of rogue, specifically Marksman. Whenever I have Marksman questions, I go and bug him. Pretty much, he is going to be playing an absolute shit ton of Heartseeker probably. So if you want Heartseeker cooks, I would heavily, heavily suggest subscribing to this man. I'll be leaving a link down below. He deserves all the love as all he ever does is play rogue. So if you are a rogue fanatic, you should probably be subscribed to him. And if you want to see Heartseeker pushed to its maximum potential, he's probably the guy for it. Unfortunately, for some reason, he hasn't made a Heartseeker guide yet, which I suggest he should do. But I'm going to link the leveling guide that he posted for Heartseeker, so please give him some love. He levels it the same exact way that I do, a man after my own heart, bleed puncture and umber blades. Beautiful. That's exactly how I level all of my rogues now. So go give him some love. if you want heartseeker stuff, heartseeker related content, and you don't want to wait for my lazy ass to get to heartseeker eventually next patch, go and give him some love. So Curse Boy has been working with the new Witchfire unique. There's a lot of interesting cooks, right, in regards to Witchfire, specifically with the downfall of the righteous unique relic. In theory, you're going to have a gigantic righteous fire aura around you, and there are some really interesting cooks out there in regards to abusing generic percent damage to make your Witchfire do absurd amounts of damage if it actually indeed does work how it should. So that's going to be very interesting next patch, and he is going to be the one that's going to be league starting with it. So I'd heavily suggest checking him out. Now, of course, as people point out, like it's not gonna have as much clear as like, let's say, like I don't know, like an Infernal Shade build. But the problem is like he states in the comments here, like a good example here. Like if we scroll down here, someone's kind of being a dick to him. Infernal Shade clear would be wiping 10 times harder. But I completely agree with Curse Boy here. I'm gonna like his comment here. Infernal Shade scaling is very different and it's solid. I agree. I just don't like casting shades on Pax Curse personally. I agree. I find this gameplay a lot more relaxing and efficient when I'm farming for 6 hours straight. I completely agree with him. People don't understand that sometimes it's better off to play builds that require less brain power for longer periods of time, even if they're slightly inefficient. But in my opinion, I don't even think Witchfire is that slightly inefficient, by the way. Like, Witchfire with the new relic looks very strong. Witchfire back in the day was garbage because, like, you could only proc it 2 times every 15 seconds or something stupid like that, right? But now, with the unique, where it's always around you, that changes the game, man. That makes it a lot more interesting, right? So definitely check out Curse Boy. I'm gonna be leaving his link down below, like the video too. Have fun with this one. This build's gonna be great. All right, we got Babbling Bike here. So Babbling, he plays a lot of Sentinel. He like fucks with Sentinel really hard, as do I. I really enjoy Sentinel, and he has taken a liking to Bleed Hammerdan. So if you are a fan of Bleed Hammerdan, he's going to be probably updating it for next patch. Uh, all of the buffs look very nice for it. Obviously, we are losing Volatile Reversal, but in theory, there's a lot of things coming that make this build much, much better. Like, for instance, all your idols are going to have more text on them, right? That's a good start. Like, way more text on them. And you're going to have way more HP, which means you can actually reduce the amount of HP that you have on your gear and focus more on DPS options, right? So that's going to be exciting. There's a lot of cool things coming for Bleed Hammerdan, which I'm really excited for. And he's going to end up playing it for his league starter, I think. Either he's going to be playing it or he has made a full league starter guide for it. Either way, Bleed Hammerdan is a build that I trust because it's one of my favorite builds right now. So definitely check out Babbling. He plays a lot of Sentinel. Someone I trust currently for Sentinel. Now, the last person on this list is going to be Frozen, a friend of mine as well. He's going to be playing a brand of deception focused abusing runemaster. He's going to be using mana guide, but not in a cringe way. He's going to be using it as a way to get really tanky while channeling focus, and then of course staying in there while applying brand of deception to bosses and to clear and stuff like that with lightning blast. This means that he can essentially make a build that is absurdly tanky thanks to strength stacking with cleaver solution. So not only can you get a lot of percent armor right from the strength, you can also get a lot of intelligence, which is important because if you don't know, they're making it so that the set crafting affix for the Velatria set is 1% shock chance per intelligence. So if you have 200 strength, you have 200 shock, which will all apply to your branded deception damage. So this might not do the most amount of damage like other builds can do, but it's definitely up there in terms of the amount of tankiness that you can get. It's going to be a very, very like brain dead build. Now, a lot of people have criticized the build being really expensive. You guys don't understand. Like, you guys literally don't understand Frozen is the kind of person who will literally play this for the next 3 months and not get tired whatsoever. He's probably going to be playing this for a very long time. So if you want a build that is getting constant updates, that isn't just like day one, day two viable, that like actually, pushes into the end game, like very far into the end game, right? Unfortunately, I don't have time to invest so much time into a single build, as I like playing more than one build. But if you want someone that like takes one build and pushes it to the absolute extreme, and all he ever does is play that build, this is the man for you. Like, this is the way to go. You could just end up getting so much armor, and that armor then becomes ward thanks to runic fortress. So you just get so much benefit for stacking strength, and of course, Cleaver's solution, rearing its ugly head again. Like, overall, very good cook, very dread approved. Looking forward to seeing it in action. Gonna be really disgusting. So give Frozen some love as well. Now, the last person on this list is going to be Cookbook with his Summon Scorpion Beastmaster. Now, I don't like minion builds, but this is one of the only minion builds that I would even tolerate to play. Thankfully, it's getting buffed next patch just by existing, which is cool. Obviously, like, it's not getting directly buffed, but it's getting buffed by all the changes and all that, right? So you're gonna end up having a lot of fun with Poison Scorpion Nova. Like, in theory, it's going to be very good next patch, like it has been for the past few patches. And this man, I swear to God, he plays Last Epoch more than me. But instead of playing a bunch of different builds, he plays the same build. Dude, like, I swear to God, I'll hop on Last Epoch and he's playing Scorpion. I'll like go to sleep, he's playing Scorpion. I'll like boot up Stellaris, he's playing Scorpion. I'll go like out with my wife for a date, he's playing Scorpion. This man is the Scorpion man, and that's what he is known for, and that is what he does. I respect him very much. That's all he does is play Scorpion. So if you want someone who has played a build and only played that build and focused on that build and refining it with like hours and hours and hours and hours of work, this is the man for you. Also, if you like minions, this is the best minion build in my opinion. All the other minion builds either require abusive amounts of snapshotting or just don't feel good to play. This is like the only like minion build that I've seen so far that like doesn't make me puke when I see its gameplay. So have fun with it. This one's a banger. This one's a certified banger. Like, oh my goodness. And he has put so much time and effort into a written guide as well. If you like written guides, here you go. This is a written guide and it's really good. And I've showcased this on the channel multiple times. It's like confirmed to go into absurd amounts of corruption for a minion build. Really exciting stuff. Have fun with them. Give Cookbook some love. But yeah, that's perfect. Now, with all that being said, this has been Dread. If your favorite creator didn't end up on this list, don't feel bad. I could only have so much room to like put stuff in there. I just wanted to give you guys more advice on more league starters, because there's a lot more than you think there are. Like, the build diversity in Last Epoch is a lot bigger than people think it is. Like, if you stay around like A tier, like maybe 90% percentile, not or 90 to 95% percentile, the amount of builds that you have access to is a massive. You end up going from maybe 10 to 20 builds to hundreds of builds that you have access to. So, like, seriously, just start looking around. There's a lot of talented people in the community who make a lot of good stuff. So, with all that being said, this has been Dread. Off to go do something else. Bye.